Paintsmith Raznal is a sadistic mastermind who spent eons perfecting the deadly traps found in Torghast. He relishes the screams of his victims as a testament to his skill, listening with malignant delight as they echo through the tower's desolate halls. I'm Fintusius and welcome to my normal and heroic Paintsmith Raznal guide. If you're interested in other languages, don't forget to enable the subtitle feature and pick the one you're after in the YouTube video. Paintsmith Raznal is the 6th boss in the 9.1 Sanctum of Domination raid, which features a whole collection of traps, spikes, chains, spikes on traps, and even spiky balls. Sanctum of Domination indeed. This fight will be separated into two parts. In the first, you'll be facing off against Raznal, empowered by various weapons of his own making, while in the second, the Paintsmith will retreat back to his anvil and leave you in sort of an intermission filled with dodging mechanics and lots of healing required. At that time, he'll be busy perfecting his weapon. His signature skill is Instruments of Pain, which will allow Raznal to equip 3 different weapons over the duration of the encounter, each dealing a bit more damage and changing the mechanics of his tank swap ability. During the fight, the current tank will get occasionally marked, which will make the Paintsmith throw his weapon at him after a brief delay, causing a burst of raid-wide damage that is reduced to players who are further away from the impact area. Following the hit, a specific pattern of spikes will erupt from the tiles on the floor, dealing heavy damage and stunning all players hit, and this pattern will differ depending on the weapon he's currently wielding. At first, he'll wield his axe. Its weapon throw eruption will cause spikes to erupt in 4 directions in the style of a cross from the tank's location. After his first intermission, he will be wielding his hammer. This weapon throw will create a ripple of spikes moving outwards from the target's location. After his second and last intermission, he'll be in the possession of a scythe. This one, after being thrown at the tank, will combine the pattern of both previous weapons. Spikes will erupt in 4 directions, then ripple outwards. In order to deal with those weapon throws, make sure the tank always runs to the furthest corner, as it minimizes the damage received by the raid and reduces the chance of players getting hit by spikes. The main attack itself will leave a stacking debuff known as Blackened Armor on the tank, increasing incoming physical damage by 200% and dealing constant fire damage, forcing the other tank to instantly take the boss after a weapon throw. An important tip for tanks will be to stand still while the weapon will be mid-air, otherwise you might get stunned by the first erupting spikes. You should also try to have your tanks keep bringing that weapon throw mechanic to the same corner, as it will make it easier for the rest of the raid to adapt with their positioning. The second important mechanic is going to be spiked balls. Raznal will be creating a line of deadly balls that will roll across the platform, basically instantly killing any player they roll over. The balls are attackable though, so make sure you mark the one you'll want to burst down fast with your team in order to create a safe passage. At the same time, be careful when damaging it from the front as a melee. Besides carelessly throwing his precious weapons at tanks and terrorizing you with the spiked balls, the boss will also apply Shadow Steel Chains debuffs to a few players. This will surround them with chains and cause them to take ticking fire damage over 35 seconds, as well as knock back and do physical damage to any player that comes too close. This can become particularly deadly during spiked balls, as you can easily knock back allies by accident into them, which would most definitely kill them. Make sure to have debuffed players move through the created safe passage last, so that there aren't any allies left to knock back to their doom. If your class allows it, and you're afflicted by a chains debuff, you can blink or teleport to the other side of the ball spawn, which will make it easier for your team on the other side, as they'll have one less debuffed player to deal with. Once the boss reaches 70% and 40% health, he'll retreat back from the fight in order to perfect his weapon. Raznal will then start hammering his anvil, and with every hit will cause raid-wide fire damage with black flames, which will also leave a stacking fire damage over time debuff known as Lingering Flames. This will become very demanding over time for your healers, as those debuffs will, well, linger, which means they'll last till the end of the fight. You'll want to plan healing cooldowns accordingly in order to survive the ramping damage. This also means that those flames will start doing some serious damage after the second intermission due to the amount of stacks growing, so I'd recommend keeping Bloodlust for that last 40%. This, however, is not all, as during this intermission, lines of spikes will constantly spawn and move across the platform. However, they will always have one safe tile gap which you can use to squeeze through. Be on your toes, as those will move pretty fast. Lastly, the Paintsmith's work will also unleash blazing swirlies that you'll need to dodge, as they'll be doing large fire damage to all players within 3 yards of the impact location. After having survived that gauntlet, the fight will resume with the Paintsmith now wielding his upgraded weapon, and this will repeat twice, as he'll start with his axe, move on to his hammer after the first intermission, then finish off with his scythe after the second one. Don't forget that those weapon swaps will alter the tank swap mechanic, as well as cause it to deal more damage. This concludes the encounter on normal, which now leads me to the heroic difficulty. Here, everything as usual will do more damage, spikes will stun for longer, and most importantly, a new deadly mechanic will be present called Flame Clasp Trap. The boss will mark up to 4 players, and after 8 seconds, a trap will spawn beneath them. Those traps explode upon any form of contact, triggering Flame Clasp Eruption. This means that traps will go off if touched by a player, spikes, or rolled over by balls, dealing 12,000 fire damage to the whole raid and increasing damage taken from other trap explosions by 200% for 1.5 seconds. You will need to have marked players space out between each other in order for them to not have those traps be placed too close to each other. You should try and place them as far away as possible from where your tank will bring the Paintsmith weapon throw, as it will be a source of spikes, which can lead to unwanted Flame Clasp eruptions. Make sure to act quickly and preferably have players trigger the traps manually in a staggered manner, meaning at least 1.5 seconds apart from each other, as if you're too slow, the chance of them exploding due to mechanics overlapping at a bad time, such as from tanks, spikes, or balls, will be high. If you want to check out additional tips and raid notes, you can find out more in my Discord, as I'll have a pinned section for boss talks. This was my Paintsmith Raznal boss guide. If you enjoyed it, feel free to hit the like button, and if you decide to subscribe, I'll see you hopefully in the next one. Goodbye.